It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Welcome to the Forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week. It's brought to you by Hayes Med. And on the Forum, we like to feature different guests from around the area that are doing great things. And I think you're doing something great. You're working on your PhD. That's an accomplishment, isn't it?
I would say so, yes.
Ben Faber is our guest today. A lot of people probably know your dad. Your dad's been around Fort Hays for a long time.
Yes.
How many years you think?
Oh, I want to say 35.
So Dr. Paul Faber is his father. And Ben, you're kind of following in the PhD footsteps, I guess, going now after your PhD. Let's talk a little bit about when you grew up here in Hays. Did you ever think that's what you're going to do in life?
Oh, you know, it crossed my mind. Of course, my dad, being an academic, he encouraged us to be curious, to read all the things that we could. So it crossed my mind that, yeah, one day I might be doing something like this.
And now you're doing physics. So let's talk about that a little bit. When you were younger, is that something that you really got into? Because physics, I mean, that takes a lot of math skills.
It does, and it's something that kind of grew on me as I went through Hays High and both Kennedy and Hays High. I started to really get into liking math and liking my math courses, and then I took my freshman physics course at Hays High, and I thought, wow, this is stuff that I'd really actually like to do for a living, and it was great that I learned that you could do it for a living.
And a lot of people don't say that.
Yeah, I know.
So you did that, and you took some of your classes, and you look back on some of those classes in high school, and you go, boy, that was so, I had a tough time with it, but that was so elementary at the time.
That is true. Yeah.
So you finished your degree or you're at Hays High, 2007?
Yep, 2007.
2007 you graduated, and then you decided, well, I'm going to work on my bachelor's degree. Pretty big jump in your bachelor's degree from Hays, Kansas, going out to Pasadena, California.
That is true, yes.
So that's where you went for your bachelor's degree?
Yes.
And it was Cal Poly? Was that where you went?
Nope, it was the California Institute of Technology.
Okay, California Institute of Technology is where you went, and you're in Pasadena. What a difference in life. I mean, you don't get any winners there.
No, you don't. It was night and day difference.
Ever have a chance to go down to the Rose Bowl parade and stuff?
Yep, I did. I definitely took advantage of that. I mean, and we'd see the fan bases from the other universities come in for the Rose Bowl, and it increased the population of Pasadena by 100,000 people, which was pretty interesting. It was just cool to see something like that. I'd always seen on TV, and then here it was right in front of me.
And the floats are all of flowers.
Yep, they're all made of flowers and other plant parts, so that was really cool.
So you had a chance to experience that. Any other experiences in California while you were out there?
Of course, going to the beach all the time. I think one thing that tends to come up is that because Caltech is a very small school, I got to play college basketball for a year.
I heard it was a really good team you were on.
No, we were the worst team.
Oh, you were?
Oh, yeah, we were the worst team in college basketball.
I got the wrong information.
No, we were awful. There's no doubt about that. But because we were bad, and this was really kind of an academics-focused school, the coach just let students walk on, and I walked on for a year, and that was really fun.
So you're the smartest team.
I would say we were probably the smartest team, but definitely not the best at basketball.
Was your workload compared to Hays High dramatically different out there?
It was significantly more.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Like your day, how would your day start out there?
Well, I would say I was one of the odd students that I actually tried to get up and go to classes in the morning. So I would get up and go to class, and then boy, from something like 3 p.m. up until about midnight, all of us students were just working on homework.
So you finished up your degree out there in, is it physics or astrophysics?
Nope, I did it in physics.
Okay, physics. And then you decided, well, I'm done with my bachelor's degree. I want to get some more education. So you decided to work on your master's, and you went from coast to coast, didn't you?
I did. I went to Princeton, New Jersey, or Princeton in New Jersey, and I studied plasma physics for my master's.
Plasma physics. Now, what's the difference between regular physics and plasma physics?
Plasma physics would just be a specialization of physics. So I study what's commonly referred to as the fourth state of matter. So you have your solids, you have your liquids, you have your gas, and then you can have what's called a plasma, which is an ionized form of a gas. So it follows all of the physical laws of a gas, but by virtue of being ionized, it reacts to electric and magnetic fields. So the sun is a big ball of plasma.
So you're probably interested in the beginning of time and how all these planets form and all that stuff.
Yeah, that is certainly one. That is certainly one specialization that you can have. I'm actually interested. My PhD research is in nuclear fusion energy. So what we want to try to do is replicate how sun and stars, how they make their energy. We want to replicate that in a lab and then ultimately in a power plant. It would be an excellent source of clean, renewable energy that would be virtually inexhaustible.
So good luck with that one.
Yeah, thanks.
So you have a lot of people working on that together, working as
Yes.
as teams, and you need that team and that support to help you with your papers.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's very hard to write a paper, much less engage in any sort of cutting edge research just on your own, right? So I am very much part of a team at the University of Wisconsin doing all sorts of fusion-related research.
And you need a lot of citations, so you've got to read a lot too.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So that's what you do from the moment you get up to the moment you go to bed, reading a lot?
It seems like it, yes.
And you're not reading those books out there that most people are probably reading, the top 10 on the New York Times bestseller list.
No, as much as I'd like to, it's a lot of very dense technical literature and lots of papers written by other researchers just so that you can stay current on what's going on in the field.
So you were working on your bachelor's in California, moved coast to the other coast, New Jersey to Princeton, and then you decided after getting your master's you were going to move on. And I think I'm going to stop right there and we're going to take a quick break because we're going to come back and talk about this PhD stuff you're working on right now because it sounds interesting as well. So we'll get back to you and talk to you more about that here in just a moment. Again, Ben Faber is our guest today. This is The Forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman. The Forum brought to you by Hayes Med.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
Eagle Communications is your ultimate business partner. We provide business class phone with customizable features and fast, reliable internet. Your knowledgeable team at Technology Solutions has a broad base of IT services to meet your needs. Let the experts at Marketing Solutions get your message to the right people on the best platforms. The only piece missing is your business. Call Eagle Communications today at 877-61-EAGLE.
Welcome back to The Forum. I'm Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman. And by the way, if you've got a guest idea or a story that you'd like us to talk about on the forum, Gary would love to hear from you here at the forum. It's gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. Again, that's gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. Ben Faber, PhD candidate, is with us today. We learned a little bit about your life in the first half of the show. Now in the second half of the show, we're going to talk about the next part of the next chapter in life. PhD, you're working on that right now. You've got everything done but your dissertation, I guess. You're kind of working on that paperwork right now.
Yep.
So where are you working on your PhD?
So this is at the University of Wisconsin-Madison in Madison, Wisconsin.
So all the way along, we were talking about you being in California at Pasadena, then going to Princeton. Were these the schools that you picked, or were they the top 5 schools you wanted, or was it the number one choice and you got in every time?
Fortunately, these were my number one choices, and I got in, and I felt very fortunate to have that.
That is a big feat, it really is. Well, congrats on that. Now let's talk about you being at the University of Wisconsin. You're working on your PhD. Part of the gig there is you probably have to teach. When you work on your PhD, that's typically part of it.
Yes, you do usually have to teach, and it's usually teaching kind of the basic physics courses, so you're often a TA for a professor, and then you have to lead a certain section of students in exercises each week and answer questions, have office hours, things like that.
So how's that going for you so far?
I don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, you don't?
Since I'm now in the dissertation stage,
okay.
I don't have to teach anymore, which is I'm pretty thankful for that.
So how does your typical day? And we talked in the first part of the show about you out in Pasadena working on your bachelor's degree, where you'd get up early in the morning and you'd study till midnight. Is that the case now? You're reading a lot and you're working kind of by yourself, or are you going out and doing some research and getting with teams to help you on your PhD dissertation?
Yeah. So what I do is I do a lot of computational work. So I do a lot of computer simulations, and that's my kind of main thing. And that requires me to really kind of be working by myself at a desk for a long period of time. It's really exciting as it sounds, but it's really interesting stuff. So I'll get up, I'll go to work, and then I'll go through the simulations that had maybe run overnight or the day before, and I try to analyze them, try to get something out of these simulations. Then I think, oh well, what do I need to change to make the next round of simulations try to answer some questions that we've been trying to answer. So it is a lot of reading then of material, reading then of books, just try to get some, figure out the physics that I'm trying to answer. And then I will talk to the experimental team at the University of Wisconsin, who's doing often the experiments that my simulations are trying to either answer questions about or maybe trying to set up new experiments. So it's a wide variety of things that I need to do.
Or they bring them back to you and you got to try over again.
Yep,
It's like,
yep, absolutely.
This is never going to get done.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the kind of the reality of research is probably 80% of the things that you do are not all that useful. It's when you really are able to get that 10% of things that you think, wow, this is actually really cool. This is really great. And it took all that 80% to get to that point. But a lot of the things that you do, you realize, oh, well, this wasn't quite getting at what we were trying to do. This wasn't answering the question we originally sought to answer. But it's a big process, but it's a fulfilling one.
These students that are kind of working with you, are they a core group of students that will work with you all the way through your dissertation, or is it different students as you move along?
It will certainly be different students as you move along. I certainly have a core group of office mates, things like that, who I work pretty closely with, but of course everybody comes into graduate school at different times, so they all graduate at different times, and so you just kind of have this continual flow in of graduate students who have to pick up the information that the previous students left off and go from there.
So after you finish with your PhD, what are your plans from there? Do you want to teach? Do you want to get out into the world and work on this kind of stuff for maybe a big company?
Right, so I would like to stay in academia right now, and the reason is there's a lot of opportunity in academia to do this research. A lot of the research that I do on nuclear fusion energy is funded by the U.S. government because it's kind of an essential research topic, and it's also an expensive research topic. So big companies aren't as interested right now in hiring people like me, but the U.S. government certainly does, and they fund a lot of academic research, things like that. And so that's kind of the route that I'd like to stay in, because I really like doing the research that I'm doing, and I think I'd really like to keep doing that, but then maybe I'd like to transition into being a professor and teaching students down the road. So it's kind of a natural thing to stay in academics.
Well, very good. Well, thanks for coming in and sharing your life experience with us today, because you're on a long journey.
It has been long, but no, thank you. This is a great opportunity.
Well, thank you very much. Again, our guest tonight is Ben Faber, PhD candidate, University of Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
And he is somebody that we're looking as a bright star for us to kind of, I guess, take that journey on.
Yep.
Again, Ben Faber, our guest today. I'm Mike Kerner, in for Gary Shorman on the forum, brought to you by HaysMed.
Are you frustrated with Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? It happens when you don't have Boost, the cutting-edge Wi-Fi solution from Eagle Communications. A Boost-certified Eagle technician maps your home, then installs a dual-band modem and router, plus discrete access points to deliver wall-to-wall Wi-Fi with no dead zones. Boost powers all your family's devices in all the places you love to live. Get Boost. Wi-Fi made simple. Only from Eagle Communications. Call today.